I know there were times when you had to question me. You needed to know why some things had to be. The painful transitions and pitiful positions for everything you've been through. God says, I'm coming strong for you. Welcome back to your HBCU College Football Wrap-Up Show for week number 7 on your spiritual sports segment on a Sunday. Alliteration. I love it. On CEEJAY Sports.com, where I give you your sports twisted spiritually. I'm CJ. Let's make it do. What it do? The SWAC Conference came to party yesterday as they have 4 games on the gridiron, starting with Alabama A&M getting upset at their homecoming by Alcorn State by one measly point, 21-20, as Devon Franco had a pick-6 party with his interception for 66 yards and took it to the house. Jackson State notched the win over Alabama 37-34 as quarterback Clayton Moore was up to his usual shenanigans as he threw the rock for 269 yards and 2 TDs. However, his ground game was all the rage as he ran the rock for 131 ground-pounding yards, and not 1, and not 2, but 3 TDs. And wide receiver Rico Richardson received the rock. Alliteration, I told you I'd love it, for 144 yards and a score. While Grambling State continues to stay on the slide as they lost yet again and have not won a single game and was outmuscled, outdone, and totally outplayed by Mississippi Valley State 45-21 with 162 receiving yards from Julian Stafford and 2 TDs. But his quarterback Marcus Randall threw for 167 yards and not 1, and not 2, but 3 TDs. And Texas Southern, whose athletic department was just slapped with 5 years probation, was literally spanked by Southern 34-7 as quarterback Dre Joseph. I wonder if that's my cousin. However, I digress. Amassed 221 passing yards and 2 scores as Southern party into the night, celebrating their homecoming win. Rattling over to the MEAC Conference, who had a gridiron party of their own with 5 games that kicked off as Norfolk State was demolished by Hampton 28-14 as Jeremiah Schwartz rushed for 116 yards and 2 TDs. North Carolina Central is surprisingly undefeated in the MEAC as they got past Morgan State 24-20 to spoil their homecoming with Jordan Reed's 266 passing yards and a score. South Carolina State was stomped by the Delaware State Hornets 31-17 as Nick Elko passed for 293 yards and 2 TDs, while North Carolina A&T whipped, whacked, and walloped. Alliteration, once again, you know I love it. Howard 38-10 as Mike Mayhew notched 138 yards and a score. And Savannah State continues to be the doormat of the MEAC as they once again was literally spanked, this time by Florida A&M 44-3 as Damian Fleming rattled off 242 passing yards with 2 TDs and rushed for a score as his running back Eddie Rocker rocked his running route for 171 yards and a TD. And for a couple of few non-MEAC SWAC scores, Virginia State got the overtime win and spoiler win over Bowie State 26-20 to put a damper on their homecoming. Elizabeth City State literally smacked Lincoln, Pennsylvania upside the head 63-19. Ouch. Shaw destroyed Livingstone 48-20. Johnson C. Smith blasted Fayetteville State 35-18, while Fort Valley State manhandled Concordia 38-12 as they celebrate their homecoming. Clark Atlanta put the cherry on the top of their homecoming as they defeated Benedict 14-10. Tuskegee shutout Stillman 16-0. And last but not least, even though this is not a HBCU, but he is family, and in my grandmama voice, family stick to together. Middle Tennessee State of the Sun Belt Conference had their comeback win over Florida International 34-30 as my cousin at Big Dog 75 and his Blue Raiders paved the way for Benny Cunningham's career best 36 carries and 230 break-in tackles yards. For your Week 7 standings in the SWAC, Alabama A&M still sits in the King's chair at number 1, followed by Alabama State in second place. In the East and in the West, Arkansas Pine Bluff remains number 1, and in the MEAC, there was a little shuffling to take place as North Carolina Central and Bethune-Cookman are tied for number 1, and Howard and FAMU are tied for third place in the conference. Thanks for tuning in to your HBCU wrap-up for week number 7 on CEEJAY and make sure you give me that follow on Twitter at CEEJAY Sports and like me on Facebook at CEEJAY at. That's CEEJAY. Tune in tomorrow for more updates in your next spiritual sports segment where I sprinkle a little spirituality in your sports. I'm CJ. Be blessed and remember that trouble don't last always, and have a stupendous Sunday.